Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. Nick, how do you follow up an experience as perfect as Super Bernie Bros?
With the Final Fantasy demo, apparently.
Apparently. You know, there's really no... We're probably the last Let's Play channel on Twitch to stream this, so there's no point
But the first one
it.
to have done Super Bernie World.
Yeah, so it kind of evens itself out. But
hey, look. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this game does not need an introduction. It is what it is. It was not my favorite Final Fantasy, but damn it if this actually doesn't get me quite nostalgic. So...
Well, hey, at least we're not playing Plague Inc. on Twitch. That joke's getting a little bit old at this point.
That did not strike me until right this moment, but I like it.
In 5 years, when you look at this video, I just put a timestamp remembrance on this. Coronavirus just started ravaging the country.
Right.
Very funny stuff.
Now, the first thing I'm sure you'll notice about this demo is they got Aeris's arm bangles all wrong. They're no longer armor-plated, so immediately 10 points off.
I don't recall her being in an alley to buying drugs.
Yeah, right. I also don't recall her being scared of anything either. She just kind of came out here all confident like in the original. That asshole didn't step on her flower. You know, this game gets like the entire theme of the original completely wrong, and I've got to tell you, I'm just devastated by that.
Well, I mean, we can always stop right now.
I'm thinking
and write
about
an angry
it.
letter.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah. They changed just a little too much, you know. I mean, come on, guys. And I guess there is a slight graphical upgrade, but at what cost?
To what profit is a man to have his favorite game released if he loses his soul?
Right.
So I noticed on the movie theater just a moment there that it was playing Loveless. Is that a reference in-game to 7 or 9? I forget.
Well, considering 9 hadn't come out yet.
Well, but the remake is out now.
That's fair. No, Loveless was in the original Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I'm thinking of I Want to Be Your Canary from 9.
Correct,
okay.
Yeah. So, they tried to make Loveless like a big story aspect of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, which, it was kind of a swing and a miss. So, the thing that I've been saying to Max about this game is...
I love this reimagining of the Polar Express.
Yeah, right. It's a lot darker and moodier, that's for damn sure. Is they are taking some liberties with the story. It's not just that they're expanding on things, but that beyond just expanding, they're adding things to a story that was already a little kind of convoluted and overpacked with bad guys.
They just
anyways.
Beat the hell out of Sam Fisher.
Yeah, right. But, that being said, like I said, this was not my favorite Final Fantasy. I don't have negative memories of it, but, just compared to, like, 9 and 12 and 5 and 6 and 4, it was good, but it wasn't, like, so good that, it became, like, the first thing I think of when I think of Final Fantasy, like a lot of people do.
Well, for a lot of people, it was their first experience with Final Fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can totally respect that. But the nice thing about that is, as a result of it not being like this sacred cow for me, ultimately, I think that I could be a little bit more on board than the average person towards, kind of major changes with the narrative. It doesn't have to be exactly as it was for it to be an enjoyable game. And, which is good because, as you can see so far, they've done quite a bit different.
That's a long way of saying your emotional investment is so low you really could care less what they do with it.
At the end of the day,
That's
a little bit.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
I think any issues that I have, or, like, concerns, are all just nostalgia related.
Whoa. When did we get into the train station from Condemned?
Yeah, right?
Let's go.
So, out here, if you recall from the original game, this is kind of where the pre-rendered background ended. You went up here and then you didn't see any more. Here they've actually added a whole, like, subway station to fight through, which is kind of cool.
And a turnstile jump for just that one instance and never again, I'm guessing.
Exactly. But, you know, they did a good job of kind of, like, imagining the universe with a little bit more depth.
You're coming with us.
My experience with 7 was a little less romantic than most. I think 7 was the last major Final Fantasy numerical installment that I ever played, and I don't know, everybody talked it up about how, you know, cool Sephiroth was, and, you know, how badass the game was. All I really saw was a man with mommy issues and a main protagonist who had his character arc completed 10 minutes after I stopped caring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, I fully admit I love 9 and 4.
Yeah.
So I kind of compared it to that, and I was just like, this is fine.
No,
I mean, I appreciated the steampunk aesthetic. I always love when a game does something different instead of the same thing over and over and over.
Oh, sure. And that I give 7 a lot of credit for. You know, it was the first game in the series. I mean, 6 kind of opened the door, but 7 stepped through it in terms of kind of like the more technological high fantasy kind of setting.
Yeah,
So
7,
what's
8,
Soldier
9,
Boy's
those were
deal?
drastically
Does he
different
will of us now?
games.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got balls, this, what was his
And
name again?
all of that
Cloud.
together, it
Cloud
made for a
Strike.
perfectly
Right.
serviceable
He isn't a
Final
soldier
Fantasy
anymore.
with
Still,
some real
he's a
weaknesses, as
professional,
you pointed
unlike
out.
the
You know,
rest
like
of
the story was just overly
glad to have
convoluted, which is why I'm still a little bit worried that they're, you know,
This is
actually
overly
adding
convoluted?
to it.
When it's done,
7.
I mean, 7 was pretty straightforward. Man versus corporation, man versus man who wants a meteorite to smash into the earth, right?
Well, but when you think about
okay.
like all of the lore that they like
And then the
introduce,
ancients, and then the Cetra,
and then
a
they
lot
kind
of
of leave it
plot points I
underexplored.
complete- Oh, Jesus, there was a part where Cloud was crippled in a wheelchair for a while, wasn't there?
Uh-huh. And honestly, like,
Bunch of crap I forgot.
I know that they released Crisis Core to try to explain a little bit more about why he, you know, kind of had that kind of a breakdown, but even after all that, I never fully got on board with what exactly happened there.
Cloud
or
just
why.
wasn't interesting enough to merit that level of explaining. I mean, it's like telling a joke that someone doesn't get, so
Yeah.
you proceed to go into a 5-minute explanation as to why it's funny.
Right. So,
you know,
Better
right?
be worth the money,
yeah.
Mark.
So
Every
one
last
thing that I'll
meal.
say about the remake here that I've noticed so far, and this is probably the first legitimate criticism I have of this, is that they really seem to be trying hard to make Cloud, you know, the stoic badass Cloud that the fan base has decided he is. Instead of kind of like the sort of chintzy goofball trying to be cool that he actually was in the original game.
Well, wasn't he like arrogant in the first kind of third of the game or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. And because, you know, in his mind, he kind of thought that this is what a cool, you know, soldier would do. And
Okay, yeah.
and as a result, you know, people assumed without having actually finished the game that that was Cloud's real personality instead of him like trying hard to compensate for his crippling mental illness.
looks like you're next.
Cloud is just basically a slightly more interesting Ichigo Kurosaki.
I can see that, yeah.
I mean, boy, God, how many years has it been since I dropped a Bleach reference? At least
Right.
10.
Elevator's over there. Catch up soon.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to, but you keep yelling at me.
I'm digging the soundtrack.
Yes, that is one very positive thing I will say about this. The
But
remaster of the PS1 chiptunes is excellent.
Part of me kind of has that demo worry where I feel like they're putting a huge amount of effort and the best foot forward for the
Sure.
demo, and the rest is just kind of like, eh. But, I mean, when does this actually release?
Less than a month now.
Less than a month. Okay, gotcha. Good, I can play that while I'm quarantined.
Right?
Just kidding, I'm not going to play this. I'll replay both tables.
No, I figure you and I'll play it on Play the Hits.
No, this is good. I'm kind of having an exactly opposite experience of my first playthrough of 7. Well, my first and only playthrough. Yeah, I'm actually like legitimately enjoying this.
And you know,
this is nice to see the story from a completely different. Well, no, it's not a different perspective, just a different way. usually I don't like the kind of hack and slash everything has to be Dynasty Warriors. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I like the little detail that you can see the materia you have slotted into your sword, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool little details that certainly were not present in the original game, but, you know, just kind of show an extra level of care that went into this. Another thing that I will say in this game's favor is that the combat, even like at this early, like sort of hack and slash low strategy phase, is actually very enjoyable. Like there's a level of polish here that was totally absent from FF15.
Oh, yeah. You know, I own that game and I still can't find the time to play it.
Yeah, so 15,
I'm trying, though, damn it.
Yeah, 15 I enjoyed on the whole, but the combat was not my favorite. It was a lot of item spamming to get by, or just like mashing X until everything was dead.
You know, this game kind of reminds me more. I really felt like this game dropped off substantially once you got out of Midgar. Because
Well,
like
then
once
you
you
ought to
leave
really
that
like
steampunk,
this.
Attack on command, but I hit it
once
in
you get
good
out of that
guard
steampunk
dogs, too.
aesthetic, it's
Bet
just
you
kind of
see a
turns
few
into
reactors.
a normal
So
Final
how do we
Fantasy
get
game,
to the bridge
and it
above
just
Mako storage?
And you're right. That's where the cracks in the armor of the
Behold,
Final Fantasy franchise are on display. But at the same
Scared
time,
to
I
bite
actually
the
kind
hand
of
that fed him?
enjoyed that
Or is he a loyal
because.
little doggy?
Yeah, sorry,
Have
Brett
it
will
your
yell
way,
like
bud.
curses
We
at him
can
until
do
he
this
freaks
with
out.
you, or we can do this without you.
Because I really enjoy
Different
like
reactor,
the
different
classic
layout.
Final Fantasy
Depends on
kind
the
of
stuff.
stuff.
Never seen one like this, but I'll manage.
I like how Japan still only knows how to do one kind of black character. Everyone is Mr. T.
Yeah,
Except
that
he's
has
some
not
sort of
changed.
strange
Don't
environmentalist
you
in this
worry.
game.
Biggs will have the door open.
Oh
soon.
yeah, you're about to get hit with that pretty heavy. How's the volume on your end, by the way?
Sufficient.
Is it a little loud during cutscenes?
Who's there?
No, I'm not noticing that.
Okay, I was just gonna say I can lower it a little bit because every once in a while, like it'll get so loud that I have to kind of gather my thoughts over it.
It's over.
That's my line.
Yeah, see, they're trying to make him too much of a badass, and that's just not what Cloud is.
Stallone, we can take it. Make it rain.
I honestly wonder what like Ruby Weapon will look like in this game with this combat system.
Right? Am I just crazy, or did Ruby Weapon recently see a cameo in Final Fantasy XIV?
Yeah, I think you're correct, but I mean, 14 has done everything at this point and somehow written it into the main storyline, so, I mean, the wonders never cease with 14.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, but I did think that was kind of an interesting
I
one.
know someone who can get us the
No, I mean,
passcodes.
they've done the Phantom Express,
Did he know one else
Phantom
that
Express,
talked
the Phantom Train. Shut up!
The Phantom Express, that's awesome.
Shut up. It was the Polar Express reference. I guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's awesome.
They
I
did
know what
the
this
Phantom
episode's gonna be
Train,
called.
They did an awesome X-Death fights.
Wait,
They've done
X-Death?
everything.
X-Death
yeah.
was in there? No shit.
They worked it into the storyline to where like there's a rift in the dimensional tear. So like you just go and visit all these other Final Fantasy worlds and fight their headline villains and whatnot. I mean,
Oh,
they
tight.
basically fought everything at this
Looks like the
point. I think
elevator's
they've
on another
fought
floor.
Alexander as well as
Pushing that
Kefka. So they've done it all.
Oh, dude, I would... God, that kind of makes me want to reinstall FF14.
No, I had like
It's not
1,400
really my
hours in that
business,
MMO.
but
Never
are you guys
again.
close?
Never
Until
again.
FF, 20 comes out.
Never again.
But by then, we might be retired, and we might actually have the time to dedicate to an MMO.
Yeah, then our respective children can be our healer.
You know, Nick, I say you and I make a pact right now. The next time an MMO worth our attention comes out, we start it at the same time and run through it together.
Until it's finished.
Until it's finished.
Oh, so this is Shinra headquarters.
Yeah, so we get a peek inside the Shinra HQ a lot earlier in this version. Which is kind of cool, actually. I dig the
Okay, now is the
aesthetic.
president just going to be Trump?
These sewer rats appear to call
Yeah, Trump with a
themselves
mustache.
Avalanche, sir. We are currently investigating whether they
Hydreiger
belong to
looks
the same
wonderful.
group that made the
Yeah,
attempt
that,
on
I
our
can see
life.
that. They kind of had to change his personality, though, just to make
God.
him work in a more
What does the
realistic setting.
president look like? He looks like someone.
I'm seeing a little bit of Tom Hagen from The Godfather, but that might just be me.
Sleep, while you eat, while you shit. It's here sucking up Mako.
See?
It doesn't
Environmentalist.
rest, and it doesn't care. You do realize what Mako is, don't you?
I think the reaction that you're having is the reaction you're supposed to have.
The planet
No,
bleeds
I'm
green, like you and me bleed red.
like a thorn in my
The hell
foot.
you
I'm trying to think of who
gonna
the
happen when it's
president
all
looks
gone,
like.
huh?
I'm still
Answer me.
saying Robert Duvall.
You gonna stand there and pretend you
Oh,
can't hear the
man.
planet crying out in pain? I know you can.
I like this line,
You
actually.
really hear that?
Damn straight I do.
Wait, watch.
Get out.
Get out. That was actually pretty...
Say that again.
Another thing that I'm very much looking forward to with this is the compensation
I'd
for
worry
the
less
very
about the
weak
planet
translation
and
in the
more about
original.
next 5 seconds.
Oh yeah,
Save the screaming.
that's right. That was weird, wasn't it?
Oh my god. Yeah.
That led to like certain characters dying that didn't actually die.
It didn't actually die, yep.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Our lives are on the line
Though
now.
my standard complaint for this still stands, which is I just don't know how this is going to work across multiple games, especially once you leave Midgar. We'll see what they end up doing, but
I'm wondering if they're just hoping that the interest
There are
drops
some
off
places
so
a
much
sword
after
just
that
can't
that
reach.
it's like
they don't have to bother.
yeah, right.
You got Midgar, and we gave you Sephiroth early. What more do you want? But no, for what this is, I actually
Should've
dig
asked
it.
for more
Like,
money.
I wasn't sure how it would turn out, especially with Tetsuya Nomura at the helm, who has been replaced now by not Yoshitaka Amano, that would be even better, but Yoshitori Kitase. And so they've actually got a director who knows what he's doing.
His last name was Wallace.
Yep, that whole time.
Gonna throw your sword at him? Let the man with the gun.
This whole time.
These tin cans ain't got you.
Send a gun to kill a gun.
Yeah, right.
On me. Now for the real show.
But yeah, and I mean I don't say that facetiously. I mean, as long as it took this to come out, I don't know how long it's going to take to release what the next 2 parts.
Yeah,
Like this
again,
game is already huge. Isn't it going to be 100 gigs for just the first?
you are absolutely
game?
correct. Yeah,
That
and
is insane. That
and the
we've got...
thing is, you said 2 games. We actually, that's just the assumption because that was the number of discs in the original. We don't know how many entries this is going to be. It may
I
be
feel like
1 more,
3
it
is
may
a
be
safe.
4 more.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, interest has to taper off at some point before you hit diminishing returns. Do we know how much the game is going to retail?
It's going to be a standard release price,
A
$60.
full 60 for part of a game, but a full game? That I don't know. That's a weird
Yeah.
concept for me to
So
grasp
they
right
they
now.
have expanded Midgar into a full 40-hour experience, which is fine. But again, if they plan to do that for every major juncture of this story, I mean, you'd be looking at like a 200+ hour total experience, and I just
Where's
don't
the
see
next,
how that's gonna work.
Where would the next cutoff point be logically?
So my thought would be going from Midgar to Eris's death.
I was thinking Midgar to the. Was there a volcano something when
Ow.
Sephiroth reawoke?
The crater?
Yeah.
The crater seems to me like that would be an awful long stretch of game, especially if they actually are trying to do like sort of an open world concept for the second act. I mean, they would basically have to create the whole world.
I would wonder, does your stuff carry over?
I don't know. And that's the thing. You're supposedly, like, because this is a full game, I assume that you could probably level up all the way to 99 and get, like, a semi-ultimate weapon. And, yeah, it just doesn't seem like it could. I've got a lot of questions for the second act.
Yeah,
of this.
that's the best way I can put it. I have so many questions.
Ow!
Zap.
The timing for that is
Zap.
really awkward.
Zap.
You've been zapped. Fortunately, we got potions. And
I like how
Barrett,
not
I believe,
everything
can
is in a
cure.
treasure box, because that just kind of takes you out of the situation.
Right. Barrett, if you wouldn't mind hitting me with that again, big guy. There you go. And that's the other nice thing about the combat system here. Unlike 15, magic is not useless.
They don't call those things sweepers for nothing.
And it's not like just like magic hand grenades that you chuck at enemies.
Is Barrett more Mr. T or Wesley Snipes?
I think they're trying to downplay the Mr. T comparisons for this version just because of the overt racism of the original. But you're right, he is still kind of caricature-ish.
That hunk of junk is a heavy weapons platform. If we rush in, we die.
Proceeds to rush it.
Yeah, right, so let's rush in and
That should give us an opening.
make this happen. Oh, Barrett can't do spells yet, so I'm gonna do Focus Thrust Cloud.
I like how it's integrating the original FF7 menu with the hack and slash.
Yeah, it's really not
It
bad
works.
at all.
No, I mean, they even found a way to shove the health bars in that in the lower right-hand corner they've usually done.
Mhm.
Oh, they got the stagger system from, like, 13.
Yeah, from 13, but actually put to much better use here if I'm being just a little bit biased.
No, I mean, it was an interesting idea in 13, but I feel like it really capitalized on it. Maybe I just care more about it here.
Yeah, it actually makes a difference in a more action-oriented combat system. Like, it's not just, tap X until you arrive at stagger and then tap X faster.
Soldier first class doesn't go into the
That's like saying Mario Brothers is just move right and hit A occasionally.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of which, while everyone was out panic buying toilet paper and hand sanitizer for the coronavirus, I picked up Mario Maker 2 for $40.
Oh, nice. I thought you had that already, but welcome to the club.
No.
It's a really fun game.
I bought it for my little brother Dre for his birthday or
Oh,
Christmas
nice.
or something. I forget.
I
so.
dig.
But yeah, I finally bought it for myself because it's
The
just such a
reactor core.
jolly little
Gotta
game to
set the
pick up
bomb
and
at the
play
bottom.
for like 15 minutes at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get down there.
I'll have to send you some of my levels.
Oh, delightful.
They're not very good.
Well, I mean, you know.
I mean, not compared to some of the people who really have the time to dedicate to the tools.
Yeah, but some of them are also just really bad too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We got treasure up here. We're just about to the boss, and then at the boss, we've got maybe 10 to 15 minutes to go.
Okay, all right.
So about the time frame that I gave you.
So this game kind of reinforces this idea that I've been kicking around in my head that while I like remakes like this, they almost kind of aggravate me, like between this and Resident Evil 3.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like it just kicks back the next canonical new entry in the series even further back.
For Final Fantasy, though, I'm not sure that's a bad thing because 15 showed us they really have no idea what to do with this property anymore.
Yeah, 15 was like...
Or at the very least, they're out of good creative ideas. And like I said, I
it
know
was
I'm
like
hard
Rise
on
of
15.
Skywalker. I mean, it had some interesting ideas, but
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of crap cobbled together into a mush that I could care less about.
Sure. And I know I'm really hard on 15, because I actually enjoyed the game. But, what was good was actually very good. What was bad was so bad as to almost be inexcusable for a game with a, 13-year development cycle.
But that being said, I would like to see what's in store for, 16 or Resident Evil 8.
Right.
But, yeah.
And
but I mean, these are sure money grabbers, though. I mean, whereas you would take a risk with the next numerical entry in the series, I mean, everybody's going to buy this in Resident Evil 3
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's a known commodity.
And
I mean,
again,
it would be financially irresponsible to not do that and then proceed to do Code Veronica.
Right. And so here, though, that's not a bad thing. The fact that they're actually taking this remake seriously tells me two things. One, that they're taking time to kind of reconsider their plan for the series as a whole, and then that also development on 16 probably hasn't even started yet.
God, when did 7 become a series?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. A long time ago. But at the same time, this I consider a worthwhile use of the property, whereas some of the sequels were just naughty bad. Just Not good times.
Final Fantasy also had some like strange knockoffs that I completely forgot didn't exist. Like some of its mobile game entries.
Mm-hmm. One of which, by the way, was a Final Fantasy VII sequel.
Let's see if Little Stamp really can bite the hand that feeds.
Really?
Yeah, there was some mobile FF7 game starring the Turks.
Prove to me you're the man to
Oh, that's
say
right.
so.
Oh, and don't forget
That you're
Dirge of
one
Cerberus.
Never said I
Oh,
was.
don't get me started
I'm
on
just here
fucking
for the
Dirge of
paycheck.
Cerberus. Wait, that also got a mobile port,
Then do
didn't
the
it?
damn job.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
No, it did. And it was somehow worse than the PS2 game. Oh shit, dude. I'd forgotten about that until you just said it.
It was a very forgettable game.
Yeah. And so the best of the lot as far as sequels was Crisis
oh,
Core.
God. Is this gonna be... Remember Sephiroth?
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. That's another
But-
criticism I have.
What's wrong?
But
But you
doesn't
never
this
encountered
actually
Sephiroth
happen
here.
in the? Doesn't it actually happen in the original though?
What about the time?
No, he has like a brief flash, but there's nothing in that flash that would indicate Sephiroth.
Okay.
Pretty cocky, ain't you?
It's literally just like a random snippet, like a
So
still
it's
image of
literally
Cloud's
like, hey,
past.
remember this guy? Wink,
Yeah.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, right,
Gears
here-
has to do some calibrations.
That's right. Here they are giving a hard nudge to the character of Sephiroth, and which is, again, as far as I'm concerned, probably one of the weaknesses of this game is because the entire thing takes place in Midgar. They had to find a way to shoehorn the villain in.
Reinforced armor plating, but the internals could be overloaded. Lightning
I
magic.
thought the villain was your own insecurities.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
This thing sucks.
Scratch the damn thing.
I
Did
love
you use magic?
Thought you were
that
gonna leave.
they did something with the Scorpion. I always thought the Scorpion boss was like the most ridiculous thing. Like, who would make a robot Scorpion? But it seems to work here.
We should be Barrett right now. I am not good enough at the dodge mechanics of this game to really go for broke with Cloud.
So how long is this game going to be on release?
They claim 40 hours.
I'm just trying to calculate how many times over the course of 40 hours I'm going to hear Barrett say, suck on this.
What kind of stupid question is that? Quick rush to me.
Sorry, I was actually paying attention because one thing, okay, on the flip side of this, one thing I really like, the boss battles seem to be a tremendous improvement over the original.
Hell yeah! You see the damage I did?
Keep it
He's
up.
about to pull some shit.
He's doing Scorpion stuff. No,
Yeah,
Scorpion's not doing that.
Get
Well,
over
I mean,
here!
The hell is that?
A barrier?
That's a good question,
Never
Barrett.
seen this defense system before.
Thought you were the expert.
I need magic.
Man, genius.
Damn, this thing's got a lot of health.
Yes, yes it does.
Or go down in flames.
Yes it does. Okay, so I've got to take out that generator, that's
If we
right.
don't change it up soon, this thing's gonna kill us both.
Less talking. More
No, I thought I was only going to kill one of us, Barrett.
You. Huh? It didn't work.
How do I thought I was hitting the generator.
Fuck on this.
There we go.
God, how many times do I have to hear Barrett say suck on this?
Suck on this! The guy
40
just,
hours of
Gotta do
this.
something about
The guy
this
just
area,
wants
bro.
pleasure, man. Come on. Leave him alone.
I'm sure that there's already, if I look up this phrase on Google, I'm sure there's already fan art.
Oh yes.
The giant scorpion.
I am certain you are right. Fire and one off. Suck on this!
I can't get out of my head, I'm sorry.
Give it everything you've got.
Can do.
So does his gun transform like it did in Advent Children? Like more functional here?
No, it doesn't seem to. Oh shit, Cloud's out. Whoops. I guess I really ought to have been healing him, huh? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, Barrett was over here soliciting like sexual favors, I guess.
From the fucking. Oh shit. Cloud's not feeling too good right now. Okay, here we go. That'll help. I need to lay more into him so I can use more potions on Cloud.
I'm putting an end to this shit.
I'm putting an end to this shit. I actually kind of like Barrett's quips.
That was a Wesley Snipes line if I've ever heard one.
Tired of this motherfucking scorpion in this motherfucking generator.
You ain't stopping us.
Boy, this is a process.
It is. Yeah, it's a full-on fight. Like, you actually have to think about it.
Like, this is a complete divergence from the rest of the game. This is just so different in tone and nature.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I've got to be honest, I actually enjoy it.
It's different, and I like it. I feel like we're kind of going Wheel of Time here and getting unnecessarily long-winded.
Yes, but once you get it to its weak point and staggered, so the boss fight itself is equal parts showpiece and wearing it down to the point that you can oh, Cloud, no.
Take cover behind that debris.
I'm trying. Oh, okay. Oh,
okay,
man.
alright. I know it. I knew this felt weird to me. I know what this feels like now.
What's that?
This feels like a Final Fantasy XIV, like, raid boss.
Oh, hey, you know, you're
the way
probably
that it's
not
divided
wrong.
up into stages, yeah, that's what this feels like. That's not a bad thing. That's actually, I think, a good thing.
Right, and again, the whole goal of this fight is to get it staggered so that you can deal the damage you need to be dealing.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like less of a boss fight, a boss event. Is why
it's a gauntlet. That's for damn sure.
No, I mean, like a legit event. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Get in there and do some damage.
Do that
Now,
thing
I'm
you
sure
do
this
with your
is-
big ass sword.
A little longer than average because, you know, again, it's the demo and they have a point to make, best
Oh,
foot
sure.
forward and whatnot.
Yeah. But they claim that this is kind of what boss fights are about in this game, which
Well,
I don't consider a bad thing.
What's the next relevant boss fight in the game after this point? I forget.
The whatchamacallit Buster thing.
The what?
I can't think of what it's actually called, but it's another big robot, but it's like floating and it's on a bridge.
Whatchamabuster.
The Whatchamabuster.
I'm thinking of the dragon tank from Chrono Trigger. I'm sorry.
An auto repair unit.
An auto repair unit. Fuck that.
Barrett, for the love of God, are you okay?
I'll be fine. Just toss me an ether. Stay down, asshole.
Okay, I guess I can see that. What's the next relevant boss fight after that? Ugh.
I cannot think of its name, but I can picture it very clearly. God damn.
I can remember Rufus, and unfortunately that is very the end of...
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a little while. Here we go. Boom. We got him. Okay, that's pretty much it. There is the obligatory escape sequence, but that's not gonna be a problem. So one thing I like about the bosses is that it's really necessary to switch up which character you're controlling as. You're controlling.
Yeah, I like how it very kind of passively, without being too overt, encourages you to use different characters for different circumstances.
Yeah, right, like I could have used Cloud for that, just kind of like muscled my way through it, but then, like, the key to the... Barrett has all of this boss's weaknesses, so you really want to control him so that you have, like, total control over those weak points.
Yeah,
You
okay.
hear that? Damn thing showed you how it's done.
Come on,
What?
we've got to move.
I don't know what you're saying.
Wait, what? It showed me how what is done.
Go, go, go!
How to turn the bomb on? How to
Yeah,
blow up the
right.
factory? Barry, you need to explain that. I mean, I'm sure it was.
Oh yes, you're seeing what you believe you're. Cloud's head is up his ass.
Oh god. Well, I see. We took Dark Souls school of ladder climbing.
Dark school.
Shut up. Leave me alone. It's been a
Leave me
rough
alone. It's
week.
almost 11 o'clock on a
I
Thursday
spent an hour
night.
looking for a single roll of unsold toilet paper in town today.
Oh my god, what a... I know we haven't talked enough about this, really, to have a full conversation, but what a fucking lark this whole thing is. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's serious, we should take proper
In an
precautions.
emergency,
People are
10%
fucking
of
crazy.
people- 10% of people panic, 80% follow.
But for real. Uh-oh. Yeah, so they've also made this quite a bit more dramatic.
Why did I feel like Cloud was going to do some pull-ups like Snake?
Yeah,
And then,
right.
like increase his stamina buff.
That would be hilarious. Now we just need a QTE to lift this off of her. Oh, never mind.
Well, that was
My
easy.
hero.
But you know, they add to what was already there and give it an extra layer of dramatic tension, which is good. Like, all of this stuff happened in the original, it's just, you know,
Looks better.
yeah, it looks better, right.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate that. It gives what I found to be honestly I mean, I guess this is my overall impression at this point, since I assume we're close to the end.
Oh, yeah.
It makes a fairly uninteresting story the
So let's go.
first time around significantly more interesting. This
Yeah,
was,
it does.
yeah, I enjoyed this. This was good. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but
Running out of time.
I feel like, even to this day, like,
Sorry, it's just
even with the tremendous graphical improvement from the PS1 era, I still think there's a lot of charm to the pre-rendered backgrounds, and that they can...
Oh, yeah.
That even with, like, full 3D, like, almost photorealistic visuals of some games, pre-rendered backgrounds can still add a layer of environmental ambiance that you just can't get in a, you know, like, free camera, hyper-detailed 3D world, you know?
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
If that makes any sense.
no, I get it. I get it.
The pre-rendered backgrounds, by virtue of their limitations, added a lot of, you know, atmosphere to this game and to the other PS1 Final Fantasies. Don't ask how Cloud's doing this,
Well, you know, anime skills, I assume.
right?
Also, I thought I just heard you kill one of the droids from Star Wars. Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, that definitely sounded like the droids on Hoth.
Definitely, please tell me that they're... Oh, this guy again. Don't rush in or else you'll die.
But seriously, we gotta get out of here fucking now.
We need to get out of here quickly, but I guess we can't just run past him?
Nope.
I'm sure he's got the key or something. How are we not hearing Super Metroid Escape music at this point?
Yeah, right. Dun 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 dun. Do 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 do.
I don't know. It's just still so tough for me to wrap my head around the idea that this is a 100 gig install for a third of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like that weird question, like with Shadow of the Colossus. Does Shadow of the Colossus actually have any bosses, or is the game all bosses,
Or the boss
because
is the
they're-
game.
Well, no, that argument of Shadow of the Colossus is all bosses, but they can't really be bosses if every enemy is boss.
That's right.
Um,
The bosses are
is
the
this really a-
environment.
third of the game, if it is the full game, I don't know. I dig it though. I mean, if my gold standard is that if I can get $1 per hour of satisfaction out of a game, I
Yeah.
got my money's worth.
Sure. And for me, you know, I enjoy even a really good short game, even if I'm paying an exorbitant price for it. As long as it's a memorable experience, I can still consider it money well
Yes.
spent. So here, the game looks good and plays good and reminds me of a simpler time. Even if it doesn't get a whole lot of development beyond that, I'm not sure it even needs to. You know, I'm just happy it doesn't suck. You know, and that's enough.
Right. And it's the game's most interesting arc. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've never really, again, I've never found what comes after Midgar particularly impressive. I mean, you've got your talking red cat, Clifford.
Clifford the big red cat.
Dog, yeah. Clifford the medium-sized red dog, and then you get to go hang out with Sid for a while and awkwardly have dinner at his house while he beats his wife in the background and nobody says anything.
You know, I kind of like Sid's
then you go into
domestic
space
spats.
Briefly,
and
and then we all pretend we didn't go to space.
They lended a lot to the character of Sid, I felt like. These things are fucking annoying. Alright, I guess I've got to take out these troopers first. There we go.
I will say this game looks to be more than I expected.
Yes.
You're right. They could have just threw anything together and it would have sold just as good, I'm sure.
Right. They absolutely could have phoned it in.
Oh, completely unrelated subject. Have you watched any of Castlevania Season 3 yet?
No, I've been meaning to though.
Is it any good? It's on my backlog, but I don't know. If I end up getting the coronavirus, I might watch it sooner than later.
Take care of those wounds before you bleed out. Let's go.
I mean, I've heard good things. I'm trying to keep it mostly spoiler-free.
Sure. Oh, right. Cloud doesn't have a gun. Yeah, no, same here. I actually have managed to avoid most of any plot synopses or anything having to do with the actual narrative. But I plan to pick it up probably this week.
Yeah, I gotta watch BoJack first, and then I'll watch Castlevania.
Did I tell you I've been playing a lot of The Outer Worlds?
No, but I've heard it's a very good game.
I love it. It's like really what Fallout hasn't been for a very long time, in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm. God, who does he look like?
I keep telling you, it's goddamn Robert Duvall.
On my Galaxy smartphone.
Yeah,
S1.
right. Wouldn't it be great? It like zooms in hard on the Samsung logo.
Wait a sec.
Yeah,
Are
so
you telling me that
this
the
was a
Mako
ruse?
reactor was an inside job?
That's exactly what they're telling you. They're trying to soften the whole eco-terrorist thing, I think, and making the heroes more sympathetic. I think that's what they're going for.
Well, I mean, I guess the logical assumption here was that, Shinra just wanted to make their enemy look like more threat, right?
Sure.
Right? I mean, no, right? That's the impression I'm getting. Like, they want to peg all the Midgar's problems on Avalanche.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're making Shinra more despicable and making the heroes more sympathetic.
It's that Han shot first bullshit all over again.
Yeah, why can't Barrett just be like have noble ideals but is doing bad things to accomplish them? Like that's
Yeah, why can't he just be Dagoth?
Can you walk?
Get the fuck up.
If I could, believe me, you'd be the
They have
first
like
to know.
dialogue choices. You lazy sack of
take that
shit.
as a
Like you can control Cloud's personality in this one.
God damn it, get up! Are you injured? Care for a round of Gwent?
Oh, by the way, Cloud's a badass. I don't know if they told you that in this game.
Boing,
They
boing.
had to add that, right? He has Super Mario
Okay,
jumps.
That was pretty cool.
I know.
All right, come on.
That's what they keep telling me I am. Now this is pretty neat. They show the Mako reactor like blowing up from the ground level. So your comment that Midgar is the most interesting locale of the game, which I'm inclined to agree it is, that they seem to be going to tremendous lengths to fleshing it out in this release as an actual city, which I'm pretty excited for.
Now, if I remember correctly, and do correct me if I'm wrong, Midgar was basically the upper level halves and the level not slums?
Yeah, so the
Or am I
Sector
confusing
7...
that with the book?
No. So the Sector 7 slums was divided well, Sector 7 is divided into two parts, the upper layer and the slums. So
Right.
what you see in the game is the slums, but then during the Pillar incident, they bring the upper level where all the rich people live down on the slums in order to, really make Avalanche seem awful. So their goal was to pin it on Avalanche, and this game is just trying to set that up earlier.
Wait, for what higher purpose?
I don't know. It's an evil
plan of-
corporation, Nick. What do you need?
Find out and then, find out in part 2.
That's exactly right. But what's kind of funny, because at the end of Final Fantasy VII, Shinra is really just a bunch of incompetent quacks who are just kind of, they're not quite evil anymore. They're just kind of window dressing on the main narrative.
Guys, do you remember this guy?
Hey guys,
he's in the game.
Sephiroth here. We hope you'll join us next time on Play the Hits, when we probably will play through this whole goddamn game together.
You guys making fun of me?
I'm so cool. So
Go
Nick,
back to sleep, Rex.
Final verdict on the remake, the demo?
I kept reading that as retake for some reason.
Retake.
No, better than I expected.
Same here. That's exactly how I feel.
Far better. And me, I'm pretty brutal.
Yeah,
and hard
I
to
know.
please. But this was good. This was legitimately good. Like, if this were ever to go on sale and not like Death Stranding, like, oh yeah, I'll pick that up when it goes on sale.
Right.
I'd pick this up.
Yeah,
I'd pick this up.
It's not an insult to the
sale.
series, and it does its source material credit, and even improves upon it in some ways that I didn't expect. So I'll definitely be picking it up in April, and not long after that, I'm sure you and I will start this as kind of our long project, in addition to kind of the shorter ones that we pepper throughout this Let's Play.
I would almost buy this just to play. I would almost buy this just to see what the super boss was. I mean, there has to be one.
I think they kind of revealed that in one of the trailers. I think you get to fight an early version of Genova, for some reason.
Oh, you know what? I mean, that
like a
works. I mean,
Genova clone.
super bosses don't necessarily have to be canon.
No. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And the demo showed me just enough that it shows that they're kind of addressing some of my concerns, which is nice.
Wait a sec. Look in that lower left-hand corner. I just noticed that.
Represents a work in progress, may differ from the final product. We end up like with the bouncer on PS2 all over again, where all of the like interactive stuff is just stripped right out.
Oh gosh, and the graphics somehow are even worse than the original.
Right. I guess we'll have to see next time on Play the Hits. We'll see you then, Nick.